The presidential election of 1888 saw the participation of four political parties, two of them being the obvious Republicans and Democrats, and the other two the Union Labor Party and the Prohibitionists. The Prohibitionist candidates were Clinton B. Fisk for president and John A. Brooks for vice president. Though they had other things they wanted to accomplish, the main goal of the Prohibitionists was to prohibit the use of alcohol beverages in the United States. As for the Union Labor Party, the candidates were Alson J. Streeter for president and Charles E. Cunningham for vice president. The party often included members from the Greenback Party, the Knights of Labor, and even some radical socialists and anarchists. Their overall mission was to demand labor and industrial reforms. For president and Charles E. Cunningham for vice president. The party often included members from the Greenback Party, the Knights of Labor, and even some radical socialists and anarchists. Their overall mission was to demand labor and industrial reforms. The Democratic National Political Convention was held in St. Louis from June 5th to June 7th. Grover Cleveland was nominated for re-election, and Allen G. Thurman was nominated for vice president after the death of the former vice president, Thomas A. Hendricks, in 1885. The main issues covered at the convention included tariff reduction and tax reform. The conservative and populist wings were very divided over which issues were most important. The conservatives sought to place states' rights at the top of the agenda, while the populists argued that free coinage of silver was the main issue.
The Republican National Political Convention took place in Chicago from June 19th to June 25th. At the convention, Benjamin Harrison was nominated for president and Levi P. Morton for vice president. Some of the party platform topics covered included support for protective tariffs, repeal of taxes on tobacco, support for use of gold and silver as currency, and support of pensions for Civil War veterans. 17 African American delegates attended the convention, at which Frederick Douglass became the first African American to win a vote in presidential balloting in a major party election. Considering Grover Cleveland had won the prior election in 1884, it would make sense that he should win again and complete 2 consecutive terms, as most presidents do. However, the main issue of the election of 1888 and the policies Cleveland enforced during his term greatly damaged his chances of winning again. During his first 4 years as president, Grover Cleveland tried to reduce government spending, was a non-interventionist when it came to foreign policy, and used his veto power more than any other president before him. Many people disagreed with a lot of his vetoes, and the Republican candidates even bashed him during their 1888 campaigns for vetoing bills such as those that would increase pensions for Civil War veterans.
There were also many mixed opinions across the country on Cleveland's idea to lower protective taxes, which became the main issue of the election of 1888. The majority of the northern states opposed this idea because they worked in and owned factories and manufacturing companies, so they wanted a high tariff that would keep people from buying foreign goods. The southern states, on the other hand, did not have ties to manufacturing and therefore wanted a low tariff because it gave them more selection between American and foreign goods. Republican candidate Benjamin Harrison supported a high tariff, which won him the support of most of the northern states. Despite having their own strong beliefs about how the country should be run, neither Cleveland nor Harrison campaigned very hard leading up to the election. Cleveland had been known as being a hands-off president during his first term and claimed that he had more important things to do as president than campaigning. Harrison ran a front porch campaign, staying at home in Indiana and only addressing crowds who arrived there by train. He did, however, have political supporters across the country that worked for him.
On November 6, 1888, the election was held and a new president was nominated. Both the Prohibitionist and Union Labor parties gained some popular votes, but neither of the parties gained any electoral votes at all. Benjamin Harrison, with support from the majority of the northern, midwestern, and western states, gained 233 electoral votes and around 5,400,000 popular votes. Grover Cleveland, whose voters were mostly from the southern states, received more popular votes with about 5,500,000, but only received 168 electoral votes. The reason that Cleveland did not receive as many electoral votes was partially caused by the fact that Tammany Hall, the Democratic Party political machine that greatly controlled New York City politics, was strongly against his beliefs. Benjamin Harrison ended up winning, making the election of 1888 one of the 7 controversial presidential elections in which the winner of the most popular votes was not the winner of the election. Though he was largely supported by the South, Cleveland's loss can be attributed mostly to his stand on tariffs, which encouraged citizens living in the industrial North who saw their jobs threatened to go out and vote against him.